What's up, everyone? It's your boy Infrar-Ed. Welcome to the Scout Reports. Today I'm bringing you an anime review of Orange, Episode 7, aka Letter 7. And you know, this one might be a long one, and if it is, I apologize in advance for that. And thank you for watching it in advance, because there was a lot to chew on in this episode. A lot to dig your teeth into, as last week we found out what really happened with Kakeru and his death. That wasn't an accident as it was made out to be, but intentional. This week we go into why these type of things occurred and why he did the things that he did, with the pun intended, as we start to peel back the husk of Kakeru and get a little bit into his mind about why he did the things he did. And overall, it's just a truly tragic story. And I'm sure I mentioned this before, that if all of this is for naught, if everybody in this story is going through all this for Kakeru, only for him to still die, would truly be tragic. I don't think my heart would be ready for that, because my heart wasn't ready for this episode. It definitely did bring the feels, and I admit it got me a little bit choked up watching this episode today, as it was, again, this story just keeps to push forward. It keeps, at the very least, bringing entertainment. It's a good drama, and again, for me to be just diving into this type of series, now my expectations are high. Like, anytime I watch like a drama or a slice of life, I'm gonna expect the Orange type of experience or better. So it's just like diving in and watching ReZero as your first anime ever. It's like you got a pretty high bar to set, and that's definitely what's been set here with Orange. As we move into the episode, we found out that not only Naho but Suwa also has letters as well, which explains why he's been such a bro, because he knows what's coming, and overall he wants to do just what Naho does, and he wants to erase all the regrets and overall make sure that Naho is happy. As again, we just learn more and more from his future self, writing a letter to the younger Suwa by saying that after Kakeru died, Naho was a wreck. She was an emotional wreck. And Suwa always just wanted to see her happy, no matter what. And if going back and erasing these regrets will make her happy in the long haul, that's worth more happiness than anything. And I've said it way back in episode 1, by them going back and trying to make things different between what happened with them and Kakeru, and him not dying could endanger the future of Suwa being together and that kid that they have and everything. And then it opened up the possibility, or the fact that it is parallel universes, that the present that we live in now could have a completely different future. But now we know that Suwa won't have the same life that the one that wrote the letter had. And that's tragic in itself, but at the same time, for Suwa to be so selfless and to put Naho's happiness first, to make sure that she's happy because her heart truly wanted Kakeru, then I'm all for it. I'm all for him being the boy that he is. Suwa is definitely best boy of the decade. I mean, even anime wise, you know, action and shonen and everything that's coming out, I don't think anybody's going to be able to top how much of a bro Suwa's being in this series. So without further ado, let's get down to the breakdown. Let's start peeling some things back and talk about what happened in this episode. So this episode was very Suwa heavy, as he is going to do what he can to clear up the regrets that he has in his letter from the future as well. And he's doing a good job. I mean, he's doing a better job than Naho, because the things that Suwa may have missed out on, he had a reason for. Like, he still has 2 big regrets, which are the same as Naho had as well. And the first one was, again, just like Naho, to not let Kakeru walk home with them on the opening ceremony so he can be at home with his mother. But the reason why Suwa didn't do it is because he didn't get his letter until later in the day, versus Naho, who got it at the beginning of the day, and she chose not to listen to the letter, which is understandable, because, you know, if you just get a letter saying this is your future, of course you're going to be skeptical about it and not believe it. But Suwa, again, he didn't get his letter until later on in the day, so if he would have got it earlier, he probably would have tried to do something about it, because he seems like that type of person. The next thing that Suwa did nail was to make sure that Kakeru joins the soccer club, as he definitely did that, because it's something that he always wanted to do, but, you know, he made that promise to his mother that he wouldn't, even though it's something that he wanted to do and make him truly happy. So the main focus of this episode, besides getting out your true feelings, was to actually find out more about Kakeru and find out when his birthday is, so they can get him a present and throw him a party, because they didn't find out when Kakeru's birthday was until after the fact, back in like the present time of the people that wrote the letters. So they're gonna find out earlier this time, be a good friend to him, give him a present, surprise him a little bit, and not let tragedy continue to happen, as there's a lot of deep-rooted things going on with Kakeru, as we find out in this episode, and we can see the regret that the people in the future have, because it's one of those situations where if they must have had some type of big rift that tore all these friends apart, besides the obvious of Ueda, and there's still some things that weigh heavily on Kakeru's heart. To get it to be as tragic as it was, I mean, for somebody to kill themselves, they must have really been in a dark place. And we'll get to that in a little bit, but first let's get to Operation Birthday for Kakeru. They pester Kakeru to try to find out when his birthday is, which wasn't really too hard. He actually told them when it was. So with that being said, they find out when Kakeru's birthday is, and everybody decides to give him a present, but they're asking him what does he want, and he's like, I don't want a present, don't get me anything. But everybody involved is saying, no, what do you actually want? So everybody chipped in and got him something. You know, Aka and Takako, they decided to get him some soccer tickets because he really wanted to see a soccer game. Hakita got him a manga that he always wanted. And Naho decided to get him a new gym bag because the bag that he had, he threw out because his mother told him, you know, you promise you're not going to play sports or anything. But now he's in the soccer club and he's just carrying a little knapsack. So Naho decided to get him new bag, and this is when that bitch Ueda pops up, still walking around, still lurking, still on the prowl, and she just cannot face the embarrassment that Kakeru has dumped her, and she just comes in and saying, I'm gonna get him a bag, stay out of it. But the Babe Squad stepping up, Aka and Takako coming in, confronting Ueda. Takako even lifts her hand up to her like she was about to finally deck her by saying, stay out of this. Kakeru dumped you. He doesn't want anything else to do with you. Stop threatening my girl. Back up. And she was about to lay the hammer down on her, but she realizes that reputation is more important to Ueda versus anything else. And that probably will hurt her even more than physical pain. And she says, you know what? I'm just going to spread the rumor that Miss Azaleia is actually threatening underclassmen. Imagine how that's going to sit with people. So Ueda bows down. I don't think Takako is going to be that nice next time, but props to the Babe Squad stepping in for their girl. I really wanted Ueda to get decked, but unfortunately it didn't happen. And one other thing is Sua's present for Kakeru was actually some flowers. As he steps to Kakeru later on in the day, you know, and says, you know, what do you want? And he's like, I want some flowers. And you wonder why he would get some flowers, but Sua knows what's up. Sua knows the deal. He knows how Kakeru feels about Naho. So he actually got some flowers so he can give to Naho, and he tells him to, you know, pretty much tell her how you feel, dude. Don't leave it out there. Get your feelings out there. See what happens, because if this is what you want to be happy with, go for it. We also jump between the present and the future in this episode, as well as we see at the grandmother's house with the older versions of the kids, as everybody brought the presents for Kakeru and they're celebrating his 18th birthday at, you know, where his ashes is. As you have to wonder how estranged everybody got with one another. They just decided to celebrate his birthday at this time, and I can't remember, I apologize, if they said that they knew when his birthday was before or after his death. Either way, they still decided to bring these same items that was asked to his gravesite, or where his ashes are, with his grandmother, to honor him for that day that they didn't get to celebrate back then. And this is where the flaws of the series start to come out, because Naho is so dense to the fact that Sua reveals that Kakeru wanted to give her flowers to confess his love for her, and she's like genuinely shocked. And it's like all these years, or all that time that these guys had together, you couldn't tell that Kakeru liked you. I mean, some of this stuff in the letter still happened, she just never acted on it. So she had to have known somewhat that Kakeru had feelings for her, and for her to be that shocked is a little bit disheartening. And it's one of the pain points of the series, that even that Naho has this letter from the future that's proven to be right many times over, she continues to make the same mistakes and keep ignoring the letter. And overall, it's just kind of making her look like a bad character. She just refuses to listen and refuses to put on her big girl pants and step up in some of these situations. As we go back to the present with the birthday party, everybody brings everything for Kakeru. He's very happy when Sua comes in with the flowers. He even gets a little bit of flack from Aka and everybody, Hagita. Everybody's laughing like, why are you bringing flowers to Kakeru? Is that your boyfriend? Ooh. So everybody gets a laugh out of that, and I absolutely love these characters. I mean, this is just the perfect set of friends, and seeing this type of thing in a series, it warms my heart. It takes me back to being around, groups of friends who did things like this, and it's always warm and nice to see this type of thing happen. Even though some type of darkness is still lurking in this series, it's still good that these friends are so good with each other. It just makes me smile. And this also leads to one of the biggest parts of the episode, as now that Kakeru has the flowers, he's actually going to tell Naho how he feels about her. As Suwa, being the best boy that he is, shoos everybody out the room. He tells them don't run away from it, as he confesses his love for Naho, and we get a very emotional moment as he says, the person that I would want to date back when you asked me is you. I care about you, I love you, and that's who I want to be with. And this is where I got pissed at Naho, as she just did absolutely nothing. Of course, she was happy to hear it, but she never gave him an answer. And the majority of the episode is basically Suwa and everybody else basically saying, you need to tell him how you feel. Get with him, girl. He put his feelings out there. The least you can do is get your feelings back. Also, we get more into Suwa again, as I cannot champion enough for him to be best boy, as the letter tells him that after Kakeru died, Naho was a wreck. She was a wreck, and I don't want to see her like that again. I'm talking to myself, so I know how you feel. I don't want to see her go through that again. So if that means that things are going to change for you in this timeline that you're in, so be it, because I know this is what you truly want to see. Whether you end up with her or not, you just want to see her happy overall. And this is why Suwa is throwing himself on a sword and putting everything first to make sure that Kakeru and Naho gets together, because he knows deep down that she feels the same way about him as well, and that she loves Kakeru, and he needs to get her to say that back, because it could just be that one little thing that can save Kakeru. Because think about it, I mean, we're dealing with somebody that dealt with suicide, and if you look at it outside of a fictional medium, yeah, I mean, you can't watch him 24/7, you can't be around him all the time, but it seems like if everybody would have just been a better friend to him, if the whole Ueda thing didn't happen, if people not saying how they really feel didn't happen, if they didn't listen to him didn't happen, maybe some things would have changed for Kakeru down the line. And you also have to remember that you're dealing with a kid. You're dealing with a 17, 18-year-old kid who isn't mature enough yet to move past big things like losing your mother and being alone and isolated. He hasn't learned that things could get better for him, and he hasn't. And apparently back when this all happened, he didn't have the same support group that he had. This is where the episode really opens up. This is where the feels really come out, as we find out more dark things about Kakeru and what went on him. We found out that he actually tried to commit suicide before his actual death. It was around like September 23rd or something. And Suwa brings us to the attention of Naho, is that he was going to go back to Japan, and he did go back to Japan to meet up with some friends that he had there. He told these friends about what happened with his mother, and they laughed at him like, what the hell? What type of friends are these? You fucking jackasses. Someone tells you, oh, my mom died, or I'm going through some things with my mom. You just laughed it off. Again, you're dealing with a kid, and with his mom having mental issues, he may have some issues as well. I mean, that can take a toll on someone. That can affect someone very much. So that's going to be the next order of business, is to make sure that he doesn't go through that again. So that's what Naho and Suwa need to try to help him with. As we found out that when that did happen, he actually tried to hang himself, and the grandmother reveals that to them later as well when they're older, that he did try to kill himself. So once again, they're going to try to stop him, and I know you can't keep stopping someone from doing something like this, but again, this is fiction. It might just be that one thing. He just needs to know that someone's there, and it could stop a lot. And that's not all. We found out even more about Kakeru as we see the weight of his regret, because we know now that he blew off his mom when he had to take her to the hospital, but now we actually get what he said in the text message. You know, the mom was like, where are you? You need to take me to the hospital. And he was out with his friends having fun, his new friends, and he actually texts back to his mom, you're not a child. You can take yourself. I will be home later. And that's the last thing that you said to your mother before she killed herself? Man, just the weight of that. And this is the things that kind of drove Kakeru to ultimately lead to his end, because he truly did feel like shit about these decisions that he made. You know, the last thing that he was already, we know that he didn't go see his mom, and it still felt kind of strange, but to know that he said something like that to her before she met her demise is truly heartbreaking. And we get to a point where Naho is actually finally about to, confront confront Kakeru and try to help him through these tough times. As she see him looking out the window as he's saying whoosh, whoosh, and she asks him, what are you saying whoosh for? And he's like, you know, sometimes I look out this window and I say whoosh because I think I'm Superman, and I wonder if I jump out, can I fly? Which automatically puts a flag into Naho, knowing what type of mindset he's in. Like, well, you can't do that. And he's like, well, I think about it because if I was Superman, maybe I could have stopped my mom from killing herself. And man, it just hit me right here to hear that, to see the type of emotion and the feelings that he has. And this regret weighs very heavy on him. Naho decides to say, you know what, you need some help. You need to talk to us about what happened with your mother. And of course, Kakeru is very defensive when this comes up, and he doesn't want to talk about it. Suwa coming in for the save once more, saying, look, you've been through a lot. You need to talk to someone. And he was upset that Suwa knows, because he was like, I trusted Naho with this information. I didn't want her to tell anybody else. You guys are my close friends. And that's what Suwa cuts him off, say, yes, we are your close friends. We care about you. We don't want anything to happen about you. If something this traumatic happened, we're your friends. We care about you. You need to talk it out. You need to talk to us. You need to get some help, because you shouldn't have to go through this alone. And we get Kakeru breaking down by saying, I was very nasty with my mom. This is all my fault. If I would have been nicer to her, maybe even if I couldn't change anything, she would have went out better than she did. And this is, man, it's like I almost teared up at this point when Suwa actually hugged Kakeru, hugged him in close, and said, you know what, we're your friends. We love you. We care about you. And we're not going to let anything happen to you. We're here for you. Talk to us. We're going to be your friends. We're here for you no matter what. Don't go to Japan and be with these jackasses. Be with the people that were actually there for you and care about you. And then the moments doesn't end there, as Naho finally puts on the big girl pants and she actually says, we care about you. Kakeru, I love you. And I want to be happy with you forever. I don't want you to die. I want to be with you forever. And man, the tears were flowing. My heart was just big and growing. You got the babe squad outside. They're listening on, as well as everybody's just hugging and embracing. Sue was a little bit embarrassed, but you know, that's how guys are. We really don't come out with our feelings like that. But when it comes down to it, we really can. It seems like we're not out of the woods yet, though, because even though now Kakeru and Naho have confessed their love for each other, Naho says that she still sees some type of sadness within him, and she wants to find out what that is too, because she wants him to be completely happy. And that was the episode. Again, the feels were turned up to 1,000 in this episode. I went and grabbed volume 2 as soon as this episode was over. I gotta know what's happening. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, guys. Again, very good episode. I would say that if Kakeru still kills himself after this, it's going to be truly tragic, but I do think, and maybe that's just me being naive, that if everybody can continue to rally around him, it will see some type of change in him, and I hope he can make it through the end after this, even if him and Naho don't end up together, married or whatever. If he still lives, will be okay with me. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here, guys. Thank you for watching this very long video. I know it's pretty long, so if you liked the video, go ahead and drop it a like. If you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's not a shortage of content for you to indulge on this channel. And as I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me. I really appreciate that, so thank you guys for stopping by. Be sure to check me out tomorrow as we watch Mob Psycho 100. And it's your boy Infrar-Ed signing out. See you soon.